Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so thank you for holding through. Today is the last section of my topic, which is EC still your best capital gain? You All right, so everyone is very concerned about whether there's a lot of a supply of a EC currently. So I'm going to flash some slides for you to understand whether is it still a good time for you to go in as an EC. All right. So this is actually just a disclaimer that I'm going to share with you is purely on just on the sharing purpose. You can actually approach your professional consultant on that. All right. So, what is an EC for every one of you to know? So, any one of you on the ground itself is currently staying in the EC? Oh, well done. So, we have one of our, congratulations, sir. You are probably one of the big winner of the EC nowadays. Okay, so just to flag out what is a EC. So, EC is actually a hybrid. All right, that was introduced in 1990s. It's actually between the public housing and the private housing. All right, but there's also one thing to take note of. It's actually more to your household income. So whether you are earning a very substantial monthly, all right, maybe like 20,000, 30,000, but you may not be qualified to own an EC in the current context because this is actually to make every single household very affordable, only 16K to own an EC at this current junction. Okay, so we are looking at the supply and demand currently. This is something that drive forward in any of the sales, any of the ECs that are made very profitable at this current context. So what is the supplies of the BTO and what is the supply of an EC at presently? As you know that earlier speaker has mentioned about your HDB itself, and this is the blanket windows. But as our minister suggested in 2021 and 2025, they committed to have at least 100,000 of BTO flats made available for everyone. All right. So just want to crunch the numbers to all of you. So in our coming October itself, you will see the numbers that is going to release is almost about 8,540. So in total numbers for every single year, they are drawing close to about 18,000 to 20,000 units. So what is in for you? So if you notice the number itself, whenever all the BTOs are released in the market, they will have at least a minimum occupation period. Am I right to say so? All right. So you wait for them to build out for 5 years, and then subsequently they are able to stay through another 5 years. That takes you about 10 years for any of the BTOs to be privatized so that you can sell in a way. All right. Then, what is our balanced condo inventory for EC? At present moment, it's only 187 units. So this is the three project sites that you probably have seen. You probably have heard from your consultant as well. There's only a North Gaia at presently, Artura, and the Lumina Grand. These three projects happen to be the outside core region of Singapore. All right. So if you look at EC itself, I'm so sorry, you will not probably hear an EC that is at the central region. They are more to the outside core region, if you notice that. But what you are looking at the numbers, all right, comparing to the BTOs that supply over the years itself, what is the numbers that we have is only 187 units. Okay, then what I'm showing you on this slide itself is something that you may be very particularly interested. So, as we mentioned, is it a good time to come in to buy an EC? And future, who will be your buyers who are going to own or upgrade to buy over an EC itself? So we have a pool of buyers out there. This is the numbers of the BTO owners coming out from, whether you are on the west side, Jurong West, Bukit Batok, your Tengah area, and your Bukit Panjang. So these are your cluster of your BTO upgraders. Okay, in the number of totals is close to 20,000. Right? So just imagine that the current stock of your 187 units of the EC itself, we have a large amount of owners that is going to MOP by the next 10 years, that will be around 20,000. Okay, so what is in for you? Ultimately, if you want to understand, buy an EC itself with these numbers that will flash to you much earlier on. So this is something that you might want to know. It's a large pool of buyers in the West looking for assets upgrading. So if you notice that currently all the buyers, even though they are staying in the West, they are buying all over the place because every needs family planning has changed over the period of 5 to 10 years. So even though they bought a unit on the West for BTO flats, they might be looking elsewhere to move as well because they come from different kind of cluster or township as well. Okay, so this is the number of BTO upgraders are looking out to buy. And then with the strong demand that we have, you probably experience higher capital appreciation. This is the two key factors to take away if you are aiming to upgrade to an EC. Then let's take a look. The hot topic is always about, now, before we go into drive into a EC itself, you notice that HDB potentially has actually increased in their prices. Am I right to say so? So having to say so on the slide itself, if you can see clearly, the numbers of $1 million transactions has actually grown over the years of 10 to 11 years. From a single number, it has actually gone up more than 3 numbers. All right, so it's about 388 presently. That is going very strong. I think my co-colleagues has actually shared, all right, during the period where the private owners itself, they have a so-called wait out period of 15 months. Subsequently, after they have fulfilled the 15 months, that could actually drive forward in terms of the HDB prices. All right, so that's one key takeaway. And potentially, this is the volume they are looking at expanded in terms of the months from June 2023 all the way to current context, right? That's the numbers are still growing very strongly. And look at that, the numbers of $1 million HDB flats, if you have transacted hit high, this is actually the, you see that rising about 20, close to 30%, all right? That's the number. Okay, subsequently, we have our Bishan, which was closed at about 1214 PSF, about 1.568 million. And then we have our record high of the Dawson, which is almost about 1.73 million. That works out to be a 1,444 PSF. Then we have a summary of what was transacted in the early days of this year itself. And if you look at that, on the average price, I will just pull out in the bracket itself, you can see clearly that average on the price of 1.588. So in the context that we put into all of you to take a look itself, this is what a HDB has been transacting. All right, in terms of PSF, is hovering around 1,002 to 1,003 plus. All right, some numbers, different numbers to let you see, and they are around our central area. All right, on the average scale is about 1.5. You can look at that on a HDB scale. Then, but the true fact is currently in terms of the context, all right, the suburban market itself is actually on the spotlight, be it on your private housing, be it on the EC itself. A lot of them are moving towards the outside core region. A lot of transactions and the launch are over here. So if you want to move yourself, all right, to get any of the units on the EC or even your new condo upgrades, these are the surrounding projects that you might be looking at. So if I put into the context of what we are trying to gather itself, let's focus on the outside core region. All right, so if you're looking at the OCR prices itself, be it on the new sales, the resale is hovering around 1,494. That is the pricing that I want you all to focus on. All right, in terms of sub-sales, it's close to 1,848. So that's the sectors that we are looking at presently in terms of the outside core region. All right, then, and I also wanted to highlight what is the transactions like between the January to June on the mass market, all right, private housing, that is hovering above the 2,000 PSF. Okay, and we also forecast in all outside core region, the prices will definitely cross over the 2,000 PSF. So what is all about when I've shared all these outside core region of prices to you, and together at the same time, I'm sharing some of the record prices of HDB. So if you notice that there's a small gap, all right, a small gap for you to go into this window of buying an EC, all right. So this is the stocks that I mentioned in terms of existing EC and following upcoming EC that you can find on the screen itself. Hope that is very clear to you. All right, so if you look at it in terms of the land prices, okay, look at the land prices right now in terms of the previously, which was bought around 500 PSF all the way to 600. And you look at the new EC upcoming in terms of prices is hovering the 700 series. Okay, so that is the pricing that you are looking at. Comparing to the new launch at now, it's actually more than when they bought the land is over 1,000 PSF. All right, so this is the limited supply up in the market for EC. If you understand where the slides are coming down, all right, there isn't a lot of supply for EC at presently. What you have seen earlier on, there are 3 more slides. 3 more sites. Okay, I think at this point of time, there's a lot of concern over, while we are talking about how the prices of the HDB has trend, how the EC land prices has actually moved up. All right, there's a lot of so-called fear and concern from the market itself. So what is the fear and concern? All right, let's put into this context itself, because this new EC has actually transacted. How high is that? It's 729. If you notice this premises itself is actually at the Pasir Ris. Anyone say at the east side? Oh yeah? So very familiar with the E-Hub. All right, so the open space or the car park is actually now a new EC site. And the land price is 729 PSF PPR. Wow. So just now you see all the land price of the previous site, former site of EC was only 500 to 600. So this has actually reached a new benchmark prices. All right. So of course, in our current context, we have actually pulled a lot of respondents on the feedback of doing some survey. What if we could actually try to do something to help our buyers in the market? All right. So one of the content was actually, they are very, okay, so this is the articles that they do a survey with the rest of the respondents. They feel that EC is still very well liked, like a private condo. They would definitely love to stay in the EC. If they have a chance, there's an opportunity. But of course, they would like to, if have a chance, can we tweak the mortgage service ratio, or could we tweak the what? The income ceiling? Am I right to say so? So that it makes very affordable to any of the buyers out there. Am I right to say so? All right. So let's put into the context. Let's see. Currently, we have an income ceiling of 16,000. All right. So we are looking at a monthly loan repayment of 4,798 with the median new EC prices of 1.5 million. All right. Let's take, if we can actually ask the government to tweak to 18,000 or the income ceiling. So you are looking at that, whatever cash and CPF on the 16K, that is a small shortfall, all right? Followed by 18,000 itself, you see the shortfall gets a bit narrower. And then if we have an opportunity to increase our income ceiling to 20,000, I'm sure a lot of buyers were able to fall into the category. Yeah. So the 16K income ceiling was actually in so-called tweet in 2019. That was close to about 6 years. And we are also trying to anticipate that the next government could actually help to tweak the income ceiling to 18,000. Good or good? So we have 18,000, that will be very good, right? For a lot of buyers out there. So it actually brings a narrow shortfall in terms of the loan amount that they are able to get. All right, so this is actually just to highlight to you what if we are able to get that kind of income ceiling. All right, but of course, being a developer as well, if they know the news of a income ceiling are able to tweak to 18,000, developers are not charitable organization. Am I right to say so? So they might even increase their prices. All right. So that is where we are trying to follow and trying to chase after the price. But now, if let's say, based on our 16 income, if the prices are trending higher, all right. So this is also another scenario I wanted to share with you, so that if you choose to wait out another 1 year, because just now I mentioned there are more sites coming in, being as a EC itself, then the prices may move further. All right. So having to say so, developers are knowing that the sites are bidded even higher. So there are highly chances that all the ECs developers are probably increasing their price soon. So looking at the context itself from a 1.45 million, and the prices actually increased by the 3% or 3.5%, that will be the bracket they are looking at, and there will be more cash and CPF needed. All right, so if you have an opportunity right now to think of upgrading to an EC context, all right, so this is something to think about it, all right, if you choose to wait out further. Okay, then I also want to reiterate to all of you, let's put into the context itself. So do you see a lot of 1.5 million kind of property purchase on the new launch right now in the market? Like 3-bedroom, having like 1,000 square feet? Anyone have? Very rare. You probably can't even find any of the new launches sell on the 3-bedroom, 1,000 square feet, fall in the category of 1.5 million. But the good news to you, everyone, that a lot of the 1.5, 1,000 square feet kind of 3 bedrooms happen to be in your EC. All right, so it's within the EC itself. So you see the prices are trending between the 1 million to 1.5, 1.5 to 2 millions. A high percentage is actually out from the EC. Just to keep you all posted on that. All right, subsequently, we also wanted to highlight, if you are one of the lucky owners of the EC itself, that is where you will probably see a bigger gross profit, all right, in terms of the sizes that you're owning. Okay, so this is actually what we did from our research team, all right, pertaining to the larger floor plates that you tend to gain up to a 1.3 million. Okay, then we wanted to do some comparison between our EC and a private condo. Side by side, almost very similar place. We have a Lake Life versus a Lake View. These are very close by to lakeside area. All right, so let's take a look on those buyers who bought back then in terms of Lake View. In terms of PSF, they started at about 1,003. So now if they actually move to 2023 itself, the prices definitely move up. Similarly, when they bought the Lake Life for some of the buyers who are eligible, all right, so 872, and the prices are actually moved up to 1,003 PSF. So let's take a look at the holding period for 9 years itself. Lake Life tends to give you a capital upside, 49% versus 23% as comparison. All right, so another case study for you to take away. So let's take a look on our northeast area. So we have our Topiary being the EC, we have H2O, Seletar Park, and the Greenwich. All right, then it all started in 2012 with the prices. And let's take away, if you look at that in terms of the Topiary, again, Topiary edged out better for 11 years of holding, and they tend to gain 68%. All right. So this is the data you may want to consider as well. All right, so we just pull out the past 10 years, the most notable profitable EC that you can look out for is actually It's quite well known as Prina residence. It's actually very near to Buangkok. Okay, so if you are friends staying there, you might be aware. Okay, so the highest transactions was sold at about 2.4 million and earning up to about gross profit of 1.335 million. Okay, so the Tampines Trillion is also one of them. These are all the top 5 highest transactions. Okay, the Tampines Trillion was sold about close to a gross profit of 1.19, and that was only a period of 10.6 years of holding, followed by Privé, River Park, and Topiary. Whatever you see over here is all from your outside core region, and they are actually very near to the northeast area. All right, so and even your east side. So put into a context itself, you're looking at a beyond, because for EC is mainly for own stay. Am I right to say so? It's not something that you buy for investment. So because they also have the minimum occupation period, so you have to fulfill the 5 years or 10 years so that it be privatized, so you can sell to foreigners as well. Okay, so that is the holding period, or at least of 10 years, that you're able to see the result. Okay, that's the focus they were looking at. So just now we have actually take note of the lake life versus a lake view itself. I just want to pull out more data for you to take a look. Okay, so this is where it was probably transacted. You notice that the 3-room, 4-room, 3-room, bathers, 4 bedrooms. These are all the transactions over there, and the numbers are crunched there. All right, quite clear about that. And followed by Soul Acres. This is also very big plot of land on the EC itself. You will not find any bigger plot of land beside these Soul Acres. And this is where the estimated gain that you're looking at. Okay, that's your Soul Acres. I suppose the last one is probably your Inns residence, which is also just recently achieved a minimum occupation period. And these are the numbers that you're looking at typically. Okay, so hope that my sharing of the EC itself probably put you in a better position where if you are really eligible, you can actually approach any of our Orange Tea consultant to do that. Okay, so I will come to the end of my sharing pertaining to the EC itself. Before that, I also wanted to reiterate to all of you as a EC lucky owners, right? So because we have an income ceiling kind of a restriction, we also have a criteria of being eligibility to buy. So you have to form that 4 nucleus that you can actually purchase any of EC. What I want to highlight to you is that if you purchase the EC itself, there won't be additional buyer stamp duty, because when you purchase the EC, you are tasked to sell your current property, which is your HDB. Yeah. So this is something I'd like to highlight to all of you. Hope that all of you are able to enjoy this session and make a wise decision if you are moving towards getting an EC for yourself. All right. Thank you so much.